something is wrong with LA these days. It is so cold, it is raining. It doesn't look like LA these days. Alright, in this video I would like to share my experience when the car rental got totaled, what we learned from that experience, why it got totaled, who was the guy who was driving, did the insurance paid for damages, and what's going on right now. Let's get started. So brief information about what kind of car got totaled, and that car was Toyota Camry Hybrid 2007. And when we were looking for producers, accidentally I saw that ad about Toyota Camry Hybrid that the price was around $6,500. And we talked with that guy here and there, and our conversation was around a week, maybe even more. So during that week, no one bought that car, and also the lowest that he could do was $6,000, and our the maximum amount of money that we were ready to spend was around $5,000. So that's why I basically talked with him around the week, and in the end of the week, I just texted him, hey, I got only $5,000. Could you do it at $5,000? And he agreed. We went and bought the car. The car was amazing, in a really great shape, leather seats, heated seats. It was so comfortable. When I drove it, and also when my friend drove it, we really fell in love with the suspension. That suspension might be even more comfortable than Cadillac that I drive. I don't know. I mean, it was very close. It was so comfortable. And then everything was ready, and we were looking for someone to rent it out to. And when I did the ad on Telegram groups for those Russian-speaking people, there was one guy that kept calling, and I honestly don't like when people start calling people that I don't know. And there was a first red flag that I didn't want to deal with. If you have anything, if you want to ask a question, just text it. Don't. And he started calling me non-stop, and then one of those calls I picked it up, and he asked if he could get that car for rent and stuff like that, and he didn't have all that money. He said maybe maybe you could make it lower. I said no, and the first day I said no, the second day I said no, and the third day we decided that okay, let's do it. He sent all his information with insurance, and there was a time we arranged a time when he can come and pick the car up. We are waiting at the location, and then he calls again, saying, hey, I'm with my kid and with my wife, I cannot come, can you come to my address? It was the second red flag, but he said he has kid and he has a wife, maybe there's a real reason why he cannot come. Okay, we drove to the car to him. He was not far, and then at the location when he did a test drive, we paid attention, which was the third flag, was that he didn't put his seatbelt on. He was one of those, how can I say, there are specific people in the Russian-speaking community, especially in my country and also in Russia, where people hate putting seatbelt. For those people, putting a seatbelt, it kind of lowers their men's power, something like that. So he put behind his back the seat. It was a third red flag, but for some reason we kept going, we kept agreeing. And then after that, when we were starting signing the agreement, he comes up and says, hey, I don't have $500 for a deposit. And we're shocked with my friend, like, bro, if you don't have money, why the hell do you arrange everything? And we basically signed the agreement, and we were actually ready to take the car and go back, because I mean, we don't want to play those kind of games. Here and there, we thought about it and said maybe our feelings are wrong, maybe he's a okay guy, And then for some weird reason, we agreed to it, and we gave the car to him. And after a week, after the week he had to send the money, he didn't. And then we texted him the next day, and the next day. So after probably 10 days since he took the car, he sent a $500 deposit. And also on the agreement there was written, and also we discussed with him that, hey, this car is not for rideshare, this is not for Uber, this is not for Lyft, this is not for taxi. If you want to do food delivery, that's fine, but not rideshare. He agreed. He said, yeah, sure. And after 3 weeks since he got the car, he called. And when he calls, I hate it. And this was one of those calls that he called, hey, I got in the accident. And my heart started beating. And I said, hey, send the location, I'll come and see it. And I shared the location with my friend. We both came to that location, and we saw that the car, he rear-ended another car, and he was stating that, hey, that car stopped suddenly, and I didn't have time to react. This is his fault that he stopped suddenly. And at that moment, I knew it 100% that this is the guy who rents the car from us is the one who is at fault, because when you rear-end the car, this is your fault. And in all those cars, we put the dash cam, front and rear, that it records. And I just hopped in the car. I saw that footage, and it was 100% obvious that he was the one at fault. There was actually a huge amount of time to react and stop, but he was not paying attention, and he rear-ended the car. The other car was a Subaru. And on the video, it doesn't look like it has any huge damage, but the Camry was pretty damaged. Radiator was leaking coolant, and we couldn't open the hood to see what was happening underneath the hood. But anyway, the other thing that kind of throw us off is start saying, hey, I want my deposit back. And the thing is, on the agreement, we mentioned, and also it is written, that if you are at fault at the accident, the deposit is not refundable, because we have to pay insurance deductible. Those people who have information about insurance and how insurance work, they know about deductible. And that guy knew it in the beginning when he was getting the car, but then after the accident, he started saying that, hey, it was not my fault, that guy took the responsibility. But there is no recorded statement that guy took responsibility, anything like that. And we're like, no, I mean, sorry man, this is your fault, and if you have to pay insurance deductible, your money is not refundable, go home. We don't want to deal with anything. And he also had the courage to ask that, do you have any other car that I could rent it? They're like, no, man, you don't understand. We don't want to deal with you anymore. We learned our lesson. We knew that you are a problematic person. We thought that you might really need it since you have a kid, since you have a wife. But man, I mean, lying and doing anything. And another lie was that he was driving for Uber or Lyft. He was driving rideshare, and he was obvious that he was doing rideshare, even though we discussed about it, even though in the agreement it says that no rideshare. But still, that freaking man lied a bunch, and we said, hey, go home, we don't want to deal with you, bye. So very valuable lessons that we learned from this experience is that no matter how that person's situation is, no matter how bad he really needs the car, if the guy is questionable, we shouldn't we shouldn't give him a car. It doesn't matter if he pays upfront for a month, for 2 months, for 3 months. It doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter at all. Only we'll focus on those people who are really good at communicating, and also we feel safe giving them the car. And every time if we see the guy who is trying to rent from us, if we have some feelings that he might be problematic, I should not give the car. This was very valuable lessons, and hopefully in the future we won't make that mistake. All right guys, I hope that this video was valuable. If it was, give it a thumbs up, and see you in the next video. Bye.